Metro on WDET. I'm Robin Vincent. We've been discussing the rising costs of utilities. Now we want to look at water. On Wednesday, the Great Lakes Water Authority will vote on a nearly 7% water rate increase and a 6% sewer increase. Last year, GLWA proposed an even bigger hike, close to 8% for water. But public testimony at the hearing pushed the board to lower it. Wednesday's hearing is another chance for residents to weigh in. We wanted to ask ahead of that, what's driving these increases and why does water keep getting more expensive? To discuss all that now, we have Suzanne Coffey here. She's CEO of the Great Lakes Water Authority, or GLWA. Suzanne, welcome back to the Metro.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So in general, why is GLWA proposing water rate hikes now?
So there are kind of three main drivers of it. Number one, operating expenses continue to increase. Just like everyone else sees inflationary increases, they hit us too. So that's a piece of it, right? That continues to happen. We have had very significant increases in things like chemicals and utilities ourselves. And those are big parts of what goes into our budget every year. Another piece is our infrastructure is aging. And we hear this. We've heard this for 20, 30 years. But it's really starting to accelerate for us. We're seeing more and more failures. And, at this point, 16% of all of our water pipes are already past their useful life. We're already $1 billion to make that up, and we don't have that kind of funding.
Did you say 16 or 60%, Suzanne?
Oh, 16.
Okay.
16% are past their useful life. We'll see a big increase in that in the next 20, 30 years to get us closer to that 50, 60% mark. So we've got to do something to get ahead of this. We can no longer say, well, that's the future's, problem. That future is really coming upon us quickly. The third thing is, with the lowering of interest rates at the federal level, our investment earnings are down. This is a financial piece, but it's significant this year for us. So our investment earnings, so when we invest monies that we have, the investment earnings go directly to offset the charges for people. This year, we're expecting $8 million less in investment earnings than we've had in the past because of the federal interest rate. So it's kind of a three-pronged piece. Operating expenses going up, the infrastructure is aging, and our investment income's down.
When you look at those three things, what do you see that we should have had foresight about? I mean, should we have been charging more for our water infrastructure years ago? Suzanne, in other words, is this the case of future generations paying for what past ones refused to pay for or didn't have the vision and insight to pay for?
I would say that just a little bit differently. What I would say is past generations simply couldn't afford it. We've all seen it. It's not so much that they didn't have the insight or not so much that they didn't want to, but affordability is a real issue. It's always a real issue. So we have a systemic, what I would call funding quandary associated with these utilities. And it's not just GLWA, but the local water and sewer utilities as well, as they have been underfunded, but people are still struggling to afford them. So it's both.
Suzanne, should we be looking at other ways to raise money for our water infrastructure outside of rate increases? And I mean,
Yes.
I'm asking this. Okay, you're saying yes. And of course, you're very well aware that although there are assistance programs, in general, rate hikes are regressive because they disproportionately hurt poor rate users. So if we're looking at other ways, what should that be? What should those other methods look like?
So I think the most significant help we can get when we look out, because you're exactly right about looking out to external funding sources, is the state and federal government. These systems were built in eras where there was significant grant funding from the state and federal government. So now that they're coming up at the end of their useful life and they're needing this significant replacement, that's where we need to look for assistance. We spend a lot of time with our state legislators, a lot of face time with our legislators in D.C. trying to get that kind of funding. Assistance programs are also very important. GLWA has the RAP program. 0.5% of all of our revenues do go toward helping folks, but more is needed.
Yeah.
So to fill that gap between what's needed and what people can afford, that's where I see it needing to come from.
Susanna, I do not diminish the fact that you're in a really tough position here. I mean, you've cited the rise of operating expenses because of inflation. We know everything has become more expensive. There's aging infrastructure, investment earnings are dwindling. What all this has me thinking about is, every now and then there are calls from activists to make water free. In the last minute we have here, what kind of money would you need to make that happen? How much more would the state need to pay to be able to give water to everyone?
Yeah, I don't have a good number for the local systems. Our budget is very significant. Our budget is nearly $1 billion a year. This is not the kind of money the state has to make it free. It costs. We're not for profits. One thing that's commonly misunderstood. We're not like other utilities that are profit-making businesses. So everything that we spend goes directly toward the services. And so that is not something that I could see on the horizon, but certainly starting to get help from the state and federal governments to help us in this regard with both the regional system, GLWA, and the local systems at each of the municipalities, that would go a long way. We got to start somewhere. There's no good, easy solution, say, this year, but we've got to start somewhere and then each year increase that contribution to help meet the needs of the system.
Suzanne Coffey is the CEO of the Great Lakes Water Authority. Suzanne, thank you for joining me on the Metro.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's the Metro. Coming up, a brain injury that sparked visions from God. A mother who hid in the woods to save her child from being sold. It's the Harriet Tubman you didn't learn about in school. This is WDET-FM, Detroit Public Radio, your connection to news, music, and conversation. And this is the Metro. We'll be right back after the news. Stay with us.